Welcome everybody to the scheduled August meeting of Swan Hill Rural City Council. Welcome to councillors, officers and directors, those in the gallery and members of the public watching on the live stream as well. I declare the meeting open at 2 p.m. Swan Hill Rural City Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and pays its respects to their elders past and present. Councillor Rogers, could you read the opening prayer please?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. We beseech you, Lord, that we may be granted wisdom, understanding and sincerity of purpose in the decisions we are called upon to make for the welfare of the people of the rural city of Swan Hill. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. We have no apologies today. All councillors are present. Directors and officers present. We have Scott Barber, Chief Executive Officer, Michelle Granger, Director of Development and Planning, Camille Cullinan, Acting Director of Community and Cultural Services, Leah Johnston, Director of Infrastructure, Peter Brown, Acting Director of Corporate Services, Helen Morris, Organisational Development Manager, Ash Free, Finance Manager, Tamara Matthews, Executive Support, and Sharon Lindsay, Executive Assistant. Could I have someone to confirm the minutes of the July scheduled meeting, please? Moved Councillor Jennings, seconded Councillor Englefield. All those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Do we have any disclosures of conflict of interest, councillors? Councillor Rogers. Agenda item 2.5? Planning application? Yes, thank you. Any other disclosures, councillors? No? Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Rogers. We have no joint letters or petitions. We have no request for public question time or for open forum. So we will move right into the agenda. Item 2.1, Draft Council Plan, Strategic Asset Management Plan and Financial Plan. Mr Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a very significant document in the life of any council and brings together three plans which will determine the process that council uses over the next 4 years and the activities that it undertakes. So the three plans are a council plan, a draft 10-year financial plan and a draft strategic asset management plan. All of those are mandated under the Local Government Act and councils are required to have them completed by the October following the election of a new council. This council has put a lot of work into this. A lot of it before I came here in June. There was considerable community consultation, a lot of work by councillors informing the basis of the documents, and what you see on the council agenda today is the culmination of all that work. The council plan includes the Municipal Public Health and Wellbeing Plan. The Department of Health has approved council's approach to consolidate the two plans together, and so we incorporate a requirement for the Public Health and Wellbeing Plan in our council plan. The council plan has a number of aspects. It has strategic pillars, it has a list of objectives and strategies, and what we'll be asking the community to do is to look at those and make reflections on those back to council over the next few weeks. Similarly with the long-term financial plan, while there has been considerable community consultation leading up to this point, now we put the plan out for people to make comment on. As with the strategic asset plan, which is a 10-year plan outlining the maintenance, purchase, expansion, upgrade or decommissioning of different types of infrastructure that council's responsible for. Council originally adopted a plan like this in 2022, and this has been now reviewed and updated with the latest data, including asset valuations, condition assessments, and modelling what our future renewal needs will be for different classes of assets. Once again, that's included in the suite of three plans that go out for public comment. And what is important is that the three plans have been linked together and should work in harmony and in sync with each other. On page 15 of the council report, there's a timeline which includes today's council meeting where the request is that council adopt these plans for community consultation. That consultation will commence today and be completed on the 2nd of September. A report will come back to a council briefing on the 9th of September where any of our community that wish to make submissions can be heard, and then with the idea that it goes to the council meeting on the 16th of September for ratification and for adoption for the next 4 years. There's been quite a considerable, as I mentioned earlier, there's been quite considerable community workshops and community involvement in the plan to date, and there has been quite a strong response from the community to the various plans, which is pleasing that the community has shown considerable interest to date. I therefore commend the recommendation, which is on page 17, to the council.
Thank you, Mr Brown. Councillors, any questions on any of the 3 plans that have been presented in this report? If there are no questions, I'll ask for a motion, please. Move Councillor Jennings.
I'll move as per the recommendation, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. Do I have a seconder? Councillor McPhee seconded the motion. Councillor Jennings, do you wish to speak?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Only to say that this is getting towards the conclusion of these plans, and there's been a lot of work, as Mr Brown said, that has gone into it. Community consultation already in the form of workshops and feedback that we've received, and it's pleasing that we have had that degree of buy into it. So this is our view of what we've been told, and we're putting it back out to the community to run their eye over and come back to us with any last minute thoughts or suggestions. So no, I just think the amount of work that's gone into it, this is the last little bit of the work that needs to be done, and if we put it out to community consultation again for that last little bit of the community to have their input.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. Councillor McPhee, do you wish to speak?
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Yeah, look, as has been said, look, there has been a lot of work gone into this. Got to understand the council plan is a 4-year plan. Our long-term financial plan and our strategic asset management plan are both 10-year plans. And through this whole process, we have looked at, taken on board what a lot of the community have said through residents, businesses and community groups. Not everything raised will be in this plan because we only got a 4-year plan. There was probably some issues raised that we can't fit everything in. We've got to make cuts somewhere. So if you find it's not in there, we have considered it, we have taken on board all your suggestions you have made, but there may be a reason for not being in there. So if you do have any concerns, by all means, speak to your councillors a bit in relation to that. But we're putting it there for your last look and have a look before we do adopt it in a future council meeting. So, but certainly take the opportunity to have a look at our council plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Does anybody wish to speak against the motion? Does anybody else wish to speak in favour of the motion? Councillor Englefield.
Yeah, I'd like to speak in favour of the motion, Mr Mayor. Obviously, the council plan's a guiding document for the council for the following 4 years and is very much largely made up of community and councillor input. But I'd just like to also highlight there are some elements within the document that are effectively mandated by the state government. So while it's very largely a community plan put together by all of us, there are some elements, like for example in the community and cultural services area, that are mandated by the state government and are part of the plan.
Thank you, Councillor Englefield. Does anybody else wish to speak to the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried. So thank you, and I encourage the community now to follow our media releases and various media platforms for ways that you can engage with these draft documents and get involved and give your feedback. So encourage the community to get on board with that. Agenda item 2.2, Instrument of Appointment and Authorisation. Again, Mr Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a procedure that council needs to go through. Having delegated responsibilities to particular officers, it is required to, under some of the acts in which we operate, and in this case the Planning and Environment Act, we need to nominate authorised officers by name, and this recommendation seeks to do that.
Thank you. Any questions on this one, councillors? Can I have a motion? Move Councillor McPhee. Seconder? Seconded Councillor Englefield. Thank you. Councillor McPhee, you wish to speak to the motion?
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Yeah, look, this is just a process we must go through for the planning officers to make it a smooth operation for the planning officers to do their job. And it's pleasing to see that they've actually put in this motion that's come forward, that it ceases when they finish their employment, which I think is an important part. Those that listened to one of our previous council meetings, something I raised. So thanks, Mr Brown, for including that in. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Councillor Englefield, do you wish to speak to the motion?
No, only just to go with the as recommended.
Thank you. Do you have any speakers against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? It's carried. Thank you. Agenda item 2.3, 2026-2027 budget timeline and community engagement. Mr Brown again.
Thank you, Mayor. This report proposes a somewhat different approach to determining our 26-27 budget. This approach presumes and mandates a lot of community consultation at a very early stage, and producing a budget based on that largely on that consultation, and then there's on the page 154. There's a timeline which shows, or the start of page 154. A process which means that we will start this process in October 25. It should mean that there's more meaningful consultation with the community at an earlier stage for each year's budget, and a number of larger councils around the district, Shepparton, Bendigo, Ballarat, have adopted this model, and it's working very well at other places, and we believe that it would be a very good model to use here at Swan Hill.
Thank you. Are there any questions, councillors? If not, could I have a motion? Move Councillor McPhee, seconded Councillor Thornton. Councillor McPhee, do you wish to speak?
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Yeah, this is changing the way we do budgets, albeit the result will be the same, but this makes a lot more sense. The budget is, and a lot of people in the community, when they look at a budget, look at the major projects, and this gives us an opportunity to talk about our major projects in a lot earlier time frame, and I think it just makes sense, and it's just doing it in a more proper manner. The other councillors are doing it as well, which is good, and it's easier system to follow than what it was before. So certainly make sure the community are aware of this. We'll be looking for public submissions into the preparation of the budget not too long away, this year, end of this year. So be aware that that's coming up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Councillor Thornton, do you wish to speak?
Thank you. Just to affirm Councillor McPhee's comments and say that I look forward to adopting this new policy, because it seems to be more appropriate and give better timing for the community engagement, and then to roll into incorporating that into our budget process. So very, very much looking forward to it, although daunted by the idea of going into another budget process very quickly. But yeah, I think that it'll be wonderful. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Thornton. Any speakers against the motion? Does anybody else wish to speak to the motion? If not, all those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Agenda item 2.4, Road Management Plan 2025 draft submissions. Ms Johnson.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. This report is in regards to the review of the Road Management Plan, which is required under the Road Management Act 2004 and is undertaken every 4 years with council terms. A road management plan details how council manages its roads assets for inspections and for maintenance and repair timeframes and or to make safe. The Municipal Association of Victoria did provide a template to standardise the road management plans that were being developed across the sector. This template has been used and provides crucial information and necessary wording to keep the road management plans in line with current best practices and legal advice, clear, measurable and comparable standards that will make it easier to monitor compliance and demonstrate that compliance through records of relevant activities. Provides a level of recommended ranges for each level of service that will be comparable to other local government areas. The document has now been comprehensively reviewed, which included all the defects, inspection frequencies and timelines for repair. It is essential to have realistic timeframes that are achievable based on Council's budget and resources, and to protect Council legally from claims related to road assets. The Register of Public Roads has also been reviewed. As required under the Act, the document must be advertised for 28 days for public submissions. The reviewed road management plan was published for public consultation through Let's Talk on Council's website between the 20th of June 2025 and the 18th of July 2025. This was then further publicised through Council's social media. Council did receive 4 submissions. These submissions have been reviewed and are included in your reports for information. We thank those that made a submission and the matters raised, and whilst they have made no consequential change to the road management plan, we will provide responses to submitters for information. Therefore, it is recommended that Council adopt the Road Management Plan 2025 as presented to be effective from the 1st of October 2025, publishes a notice of the Road Management Plan in the Victoria Government Gazette, and formally acknowledge and thank all those that made a submission and provide a relevant response.
Thank you, Ms Johnston. Any questions, councillors? If not, yep, question, Councillor McPhee?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Just in relation to the Municipal Association of Victoria having a standardised road management plan, did we follow that exactly, or did we make slight changes to the compliance?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. We generally use it as the base document or the template, and obviously then there are very minor modifications that will be made to make it more relevant to the Swan Hill Rural City Council, and that's potentially more so around any of the intervention levels to make sure that it's balanced with our resources and capabilities as well.
Thank you. Any other questions? If not, could I have a motion, councillors? Moved, Councillor McPhee. As per recommendation, Councillor McPhee.
As per recommendation, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Jennings. Councillor McPhee, do you wish to speak?
Yes, Mr Mayor, just as I said, the Municipal Association of Victoria have put a template out to standardise the road management plans across Victoria. And obviously every council is slightly different, so that's why we have those slight changes and intervention levels slightly, as the Director explained to the question I gave. But it's about making sure that our plan is in the best practices and covers legal advice. We have clear, measurable and comparable standards, and it is comparable to other local government areas. So, and we did receive the 4 submissions, which didn't really affect the plan in any way, but those will receive a submission or will receive a response from this. But yes, by all means, it sets out where we go into the future so that we maintain our roadwork to a consistent standard. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Councillor Jennings, do you wish to speak?
Councillor McPhee has covered it pretty well, Mr Mayor, but just to add that the document or the plan has come before us at a briefing, and it's a pretty substantial document that outlines every road in our municipality, its status, and when it, by its status, when it will be maintained, inspected, and it's a good ready reckoner for us to refer to if anyone's asking us any questions about roads and where they're at.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. Does anybody wish to speak against the motion? Does anybody else wish to speak to the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. And, just to concur with both speakers, with over 3,000 kilometres of roads in our municipality, it is a pretty important document in the way that we do things, and the way we handle those roads. Agenda item 2.5. Councillor Rogers, I'll ask you to leave the room, please. At 2:19. Yeah. Ms Granger, your report.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an application for a 6-lot subdivision in the farming zone just out of Swan Hill. This application seeks to create lots of the minimum lot size of 20 hectares. The application was previously presented to council in March, where a notice of decision to grant a permit was issued. The application was subject to referral to the North Central Catchment Management Authority. They objected to the application as a referral authority. They also then took this application to appeal at VCAT. The VCAT order issued in April remitted the application back to council and requested that we give notice of the application to neighbours and that we again double check that there's no cultural heritage management plan required under the Aboriginal Heritage Act. So council has done those two actions. We have given notice and we've received 2 objections, and we've had confirmed by the First Peoples State Relations Department that a cultural heritage management plan isn't required. So the application hasn't materially changed from that presented to council in March. And I won't lead you through the planning policy framework in any great detail. The officer assessment considered that the subdivision will not result in protection of productive farmland and is not likely to result in a sustainable agricultural land use, and will fragment the land by taking it lots down to the minimum lot size. By taking the lots down to the minimum lot size, it does create a dwelling entitlement. So we would the potential is that 6 dwellings can go, or a dwelling on each lot created by the subdivision as of right. And while they don't need a planning permit for their use, because the land is land subject to inundation, the actual buildings and works will still require a planning permit. In relation to the provisions of the farming zone, the major concerns with this proposal is that it will fragment existing productive agricultural land, may result in the loss of productive land, and potentially remove the land from agriculture. The application has the same concerns from the CMA, that the proposal is not consistent with the floodplain management strategies in the planning scheme. It's not consistent with the purpose of the land subject to inundation overlay, and that they're concerned incremental long-term effects of such subdivisions that may have on the floodplain. We have received 2 objections to the application, and the concerns raised by the objections is increased dust, concerns about road safety and the condition and surface of the road, fragmentation of agricultural land, impact on railway infrastructure, and intensification of residential use. As per the last time this item was presented to council, the officer recommendation is for refusal. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Granger. Are there any questions, councillors? Councillor Englefield.
Ms Granger, just a point of clarity on the as of right on a 20 hectare lot, which is referred to quite often in the officer's report. In this instance, because of the flood overlay, that as of right is actually usurped to a large degree, because to build a house, if this was to be approved, because of the flood overlay, they are still going to have to apply for a planning permit. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that is correct. So the planning scheme deals with 2 elements. It deals with use and it deals with development or buildings and works. In this case, by creating minimum lot size of 20 hectares, the use of the land for a dwelling is considered as of right, or doesn't need permission in its own right. But because there's an overlay for flooding, then a permit's required, and the issues that we're limited to consider are reduced. So we're not considering whether or not the farming zone is applicable. We're only considering the decision guidelines under the land subject to inundation overlay. So we'd be looking at whether or not there's some flood-free land that they could build on, whether or not it's a dwelling that may be constructed on stumps rather than on a slab, because that changes the flow of water across the land, whether or not it's safe to access land. So the matters are greatly reduced.
Yeah, but to actually, to even be able to consider building a house, they will still have to apply to council
That's correct,
for a planning permit.
a planning permit. So they will end up needing a planning permit, a building permit, a septic tank permit from council.
Any other questions, councillors? I've got one question, just in regard to that it's land subject to inundation overlay. Do we have any data on the last time that land actually flooded? We had a fairly significant flood event 4 years ago, and that land did not flood. Do we have any data when it last flooded?
No, I don't, and I'd need to probably go back to the CMA's response and check that. But the overlay exists because it's based on data dealing with the geometry of the land and previous flood flows, and modelling that they would do that in a 1% event, the land would flood. And that's irrespective of there being a levy bank there.
Yep. Okay, thank you. If no further questions, could I have a motion, councillors? Councillor Inglefield.
Mr Mayor, I have an alternative motion, please.
Thank you, and I believe you've
Yep.
pre-prepared that.
Yes, and it's been circulated, and Sharon should have that. It's an alternative motion to approve. It's 4 pages long, so I don't know whether you want me to read it out or not, but
I think it's sufficient that it's to approve subject to conditions.
as supplied by the appropriate officers.
In consultation with
Yep.
with planning officers.
Yep.
Thank you, councillor Inglefield. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Seconded, councillor Thornton. Thank you. Councillor Inglefield, you wish to speak to your motion?
Yes, Mr Mayor. I mean, as per the officer's report, this application came to a previous council meeting where it was approved 6-zip. There were some procedural errors that, on council's behalf, that ultimately ended up being sent by VCAT back to us to determine again. And so, suffice to say, this is allowable under the planning scheme. It's 120 hectares to be divided into 6 lots. There's as I've also mentioned in previous council meetings, it probably relies a lot on the Rural Land Use Strategy 2016, which I'm pleased to say has been listed as an item in our draft council plan for review. I'm not going to talk at great length about why this should be approved, because we did this a month ago, other than to say it does appear that for all of the flood lands or the lands subject to inundation that are around the Swan Hill Rural City Council, it does appear that the CMA is going to take a particular onerous view of anything that we may or may potentially approve. And so it could very well be that will happen if this is to be approved by the fellow councillors here today, that may very well happen again. And I would propose that on behalf of all of the people that are in those overlays that may want to do something, that we may very well need to put up a vigorous defence.
Thank you, councillor Inglefield. Councillor Thornton, do you wish to speak to the motion?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Very, very briefly, by chance we've had 2 opportunities to consider this and have done so with vigour and looked at it with some extra intensity, given the North Central CMA's action to VCAT. I have no hesitation in supporting Councillor Inglefield's motion, and just make note of the additional condition of the roadworks that are going to be occurring on Mar Road as a result of the planning permit being given. And I think that that's an important addition, and one that I think that will make the subdivision more appropriate, given the location of the subdivision and also the objections that we did hear. So I have no hesitation in supporting it, and look forward to voting on it.
Thank you, councillor Thornton. Do I have any speakers against the motion? Any other speakers in favour of the motion? Councillor McPhee?
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Firstly, just with all due respect to Councillor Inglefield, I don't think the plan has made an error in relation to this. It hasn't come back because of errors in relation to what their planning scheme has done. Initially, they did ask whether a cultural management heritage plan was done. They notified on that. There was just a check on that again. But we hadn't notified neighbours previously, which under the planning scheme we weren't obliged to do initially. But this has come back as a VCAT request because we've had one objection, I believe. They've suggested we do let other neighbours notify as well. So just with all due respect to Councillor Inglefield, it's not an error on our planner's behalf. Look, I think this is it is a big decision. We always look at farming zones. We're not supposed to inhibit farming. Farms are getting bigger and bigger, but they're also the opportunity for intense farming in certain areas. The proximity of this subdivision to the township of Swan Hill, I think, plays a big role in relation to me agreeing to this subdivision, that in fact it does allow some intense agriculture close to Swan Hill to the services where they need to be for intense agriculture, not out in the boondocks, so to speak, with all due respect to those in the boondocks. But I think this is an appropriate thing, but each planning application on its right, and in relation to the North Central Catchment Management Authority, yes, they will obviously object it in relation to flood zoning, but I think we need to be mindful of that into the future. But also they have a right to do that as well. So, but we just need to be mindful of how they do it, and they will treat each application on its merits, hopefully. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, councillor McPhee. Are there any other speakers to the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? The motion is carried. If somebody could please grab councillor Rogers. Councillor Rogers returned at 2:32 p.m. Councillor Rogers, council has considered the planning application and wish to advise you that a permit for subdivision has been granted by council, subject to conditions. Obviously not going to go into all the conditions, but you can follow up on that later on. Thank you. Agenda item 2.6. Italian Social Club, a request for grant funding. Ms Cullinan, I'm guessing. You got this one?
No, that's...
No, yours. Sorry, Ms Granger. Sorry.
That's okay. So, council, this is a lead application for funding under our Community Development Fund, and our policy on the Community Development Fund says when we receive a lead application, it needs to come to council for decision. This is an application from the Italian Social Club. And this year we're in a position to consider that application because we do have about $7,000 in surplus funds from that program. They're seeking that council give them a grant of just over $2,500 to replace their cool room compressor, which has broken down. They did lodge an application for different works that weren't approved under the existing process. Without having the compressor working, that will limit the number of events they can have, and they've just spent substantial money upgrading their facilities to attract events. So we are recommending that council allocate the amount requested from the Community Development Fund.
Thank you, Ms Granger. Any questions, councillors? Councillor McPhee.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Granger. Just in relation to the application they were unsuccessful for, do you recall what that was for and how much?
Yeah, I don't recall how much it was for, but it was for acoustic panelling, and the issues there were they had just spent a substantial amount of money of upgrading the facility where the panel believed acoustics should have been considered.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No further questions. Could I have a motion, councillors? Councillor Broad.
As per the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Field seconded. Thank you. Councillor Broad, you wish to speak to the motion?
Just quickly, Mr Mayor, the Italian Social Club is an asset to our municipality. There is a healthy amount of funds left in our community development fund. So I think this is an appropriate application. I think it makes sense. They've got to have a cool room compressor for a cool room. So I see no issues with this at all. It's fantastic work they've done there. It looks fantastic in there.
Thank you, Councillor Broad. Councillor Englefield, you speak.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I was a member of this committee handing out the community funds grants, and it was, if my recollections are right, decided that there were a number of applications that we didn't approve, and we still had funds left, and we decided that we would sit on those funds to allow some other more appropriate applications that may come in. And on the recommendation of Ms Granger, I'm more than happy to support this application.
Thank you, Councillor Englefield. Any speakers against the motion? Anybody else wish to speak to the motion? Councillor Jennings.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Pardon me. Yes, look, I'm fully supportive of the application, and I think, as Councillor Broad has said, there is funds, contingent funds there in that particular fund left over, and this is a worthwhile one that it can go towards. I just did find it a little bit amusing that there was a comment there that if they weren't successful, they wouldn't be able to have any functions because they wouldn't be able to operate, having spent substantial dollars. And I compliment them on the work that's been done there. The photos that have been in the local paper, it looks like a terrific new facility, but you'd like to think that they're not running that close to the wind that would preclude them from having any functions. But I think it is a worthwhile contribution, and I wish them well with their future endeavours.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. Councillor McPhee.
Yeah, just quickly, Mr Mayor. Yeah, look, I was fortunate enough to open their new facility. They had sourced funding from outside council to do it, and they've done a lot of work in relation to upgrading the facility. But I'd also like to congratulate the committee that have come on board. They're a very young committee. It was run previously by older members of the Italian group, but this young committee have come on board. They are doing a wonderful job. They've raised funds. I thought they ought to be congratulated for the work they're doing out there to revitalise that precinct out there and the opportunity for another venue to have events. So I'm all for giving them this little bit of money to make sure that those events can go ahead. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. There's no further speakers. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Agenda item 2.7, 37 to 39 Campbell Street, Swan Hill, Liquor Control, Victoria. Council objection to packaged liquor licence. Ms Granger.
Thank you, Mayor. Council previously did have a planning permit application before it for a packaged liquor licence at this site, but the planning controls changed on July 1st and Council no longer needs to issue a planning permit. In having considered the application, though, Council had given notice and received 21 objections and a petition really concerned about the location of this licence, the cumulative impacts and the social implications involved with another packaged or just liquor outlet in Swan Hill. So operationally, Council lodged an objection to the Liquor Control Victoria application because they still need to make a decision as to whether or not they'll issue a liquor licence. In response, and as Liquor Control of Victoria going through their process, they asked the applicant to respond to objections and they've provided information back to Council and they're seeking a decision from Council as to whether we continue with our objection or we withdraw it on the basis of the response from the applicant. The applicant has pointed out that a planning permit's no longer required, that various previous VCAT determinations has established that need is not a relevant matter for consideration, that the applicant is an experienced operator, that most purchases are taken off-site, and loitering is not something that they believe will become an issue. It's unlikely that another liquor outlet and a packaged liquor outlet will lead to increased crime. They provided significant crime data in their response. They have also said it will be in a commercial area The proposal supports local convenience and it meets the objectives of the Liquor Control Reform Act. Having considered all those matters and council's role in this process, I think there's very little risk in council continuing to be involved in the liquor control process. It shouldn't cost council a lot should it wish to appear and proceed with this hearing. So we're recommending that council advise Liquor Control Victoria that its objection to the packaged liquor licence is still relevant and is still maintained.
Thank you, Ms Granger. Any questions, councillors? Councillor McPhee.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Yeah, just in relation to the objection by council, does Liquor Licensing Victoria have to abide by that objection, or can they grant the licence as is without it going to VCAT?
So it's very similar to processes we go through. They need to consider all material before them, so the application, the objections they've got. So our objection has been accepted because we put an objection out of time, but we now know it's accepted. They need to consider other objections that have been made, and we know many of our community who've objected to council have objected. Ultimately, it's their decision and they can either approve or refuse. Just because they've got objections doesn't mean they refuse.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, like, we're the only objection. There's none of the community members made objections, but we've obviously made it on their behalf when they were initially going to object to under the planning application.
Yeah, it's my understanding that there are other objections. It's just not council's objection.
Thank you.
Any other questions, councillors? No? If there's no other questions, could I have a motion, councillors? Councillor Jennings? As per
the recommendation, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Seconded, Councillor Thornton? Thank you. Councillor Jennings, do you wish to speak?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Look, the council have discussed this at length when the application came in via briefings, and I think it's, as the recommendation says, that the objection is still relevant and it's still maintained. We did hear from quite a number of objectors that spelt out their reasons when we were considering this before it was withdrawn with the change of the legislation. So I believe that we've discussed this at length and nothing's really changed apart from the fact that they've tried to take our planning involvement out of our hands. So I think that could be the thin end of the wedge, and unless we draw a line in the sand somewhere, it could filter through in time to come to other planning decisions that we are currently being taken out of our hands too.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. Councillor Thornton.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I thank the council officers for their action and participation in this process and feel that it's very much appropriate that council not only supports the community in the objections that we were hearing and also just that it's very much appropriate that we participate in this process given the timing of the changes in legislation. So we understand the processes, the council officers understand the processes involved and the considerations that need to be made. So I feel really comfortable with the fact that we're, I guess, addressing the community's concerns and again, thank council officers for their participation.
Thank you, Councillor Thornton. Any speakers against the motion? Anybody else wish to speak in favour of the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving on to section 3 of the agenda, officer reports for noting. 3.1, the planning quarterly report for the April to June 2025 quarter. Ms Granger.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the second quarterly report we've provided to council on planning statistics, and as the Mayor said, it's from April to June 25. A decision was made on 49 applications during that quarter. 33 were permits issued, 2 applications were withdrawn, and there are a number of secondary consents and extensions of time. The development value of the permits that we issued were $8.6 million. And 14 of the permits were issued for dwellings or worker accommodation, including 1 rural worker accommodation development in Robinvale, 7 dwellings in the general residential zone, 2 dwellings in the farming zone, and 4 minor amendments to permits, where it might be a change of siding or a change of design of a dwelling. Of note, we issued a permit for a poultry farm out at Goshen for 600 free-range chickens, upgrades to the Swan Hill RSL, the materials recycling facility at Tintinda South, and we've discussed that applications withdrawn include the liquor licence for Campbell Street we just considered, but also for an on-premises licence for Bella Chow Cafe. We've managed to pull together some end-of-year financial statistics for you. So we issued 122 permits for the 24-25 financial year, and it's really pleasing in the tables to show you that 86% of our permits were issued within the 60-day timeframe. For Vic Smart applications, which are a 10-day turnaround, every application made that timeline, and that we are performing well above the Metropolitan and Regional Council statistics. So happy to take any questions on this report.
Thank you, Ms Granger. Any questions, councillors? If there's no questions, could I have a motion? Councillor McPhee, moved as per recommendation. Seconder, Councillor Thornton, thank you. Wish to speak to the motion, Councillor McPhee?
Yeah, just quickly, Mr Mayor. Council often get criticised for the in the planning area, but if you look at these figures, compare us to the rest of the state, within time frame, all applications on a state average is 67.47%. As Swan Hill, we are batting at 86.07%, well above the state average. So I think congratulations ought to go to all the planners, and that is through a period when we have difficulty at times retaining planners as well. So it's pleasing that we've authorised another new planner to come on board as well, just in a previous motion. So I think you should congratulate the planning department, Ms Granger, and the work that they're doing in relation to that. They often get a kick in the butt at times, but for no apparent reason when you do look at this. There's always the tough applications that come through, and they do take their time. People have got to understand that there are processes we've got to go through with the tough applications, but the majority of them, 86.07%, are going through without a hitch. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Councillor Thornton, do you wish to speak?
Thank you. Just briefly, reiterating Councillor McPhee's comments, and also making just a huge thank you for the new process in providing the report, because as new councillors, many of us are struggling to get our heads around the amount of information that we have to look through, and also planning being such an important part of the work that council does, and one of the areas where we are really closely measured in our community. It's really welcome to have the report the way in the current way it's being presented, and we can look at it quite quickly and get a handle on what's going on, and also the results are speaking for themselves. So it's really quite incredible and something we should be very proud of. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thornton. Anybody else wish to speak against the motion? For the motion, Councillor Jennings.
Speaking for the motion, Mr Mayor. Yes, just endorsing what the other councillors have said, and this is terrific to get such positive reports in with that huge difference from the state average. I think that's really to be commended to everyone in the planning department, and I think it goes towards the attitude that council has and council officers have in being proactive and wanting to support development as best we can. And I think that's also highlighted where we have had people taking advantage of meeting with council beforehand and putting their plans for discussion and feedback from the council team, so that when it finally does come to them for approval, most things are ticked off. So that's something that I'd encourage developers to do and make use of, a free service to meet with council planning team, go through their application so that they can see that everything is ticked off, so when it does come, it's got its best chance of success. So well done again, and thank you to the planning department.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. Mr CEO.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I just want to acknowledge the planning department, but also the engineering department. Both teams have had to work together to increase and improve these statistics, so I just would like the councillors to note that.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers to the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? It's carried. Thank you. Agenda item 3.2, major projects progress update for the June quarter also. Ms Johnston.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor, I present the major project update for the final quarter of the 2024-25 financial year. This includes a statement of compliance for stage 15 of the Tower Hill subdivision, establishment of the Ultima Compost facility, enabling local compost operations, reducing organic waste to landfill, beautification works at the entrance to Lake Boga, completion of the playground at Centenary Park, Robinvale, completion of the road rehabilitation of Station Street in Warren and South, and starter blocks being installed at the Swan Hill Outdoor Pool. Some other key milestones include civil construction works having commenced on the Robinvale Workers Accommodation, significant progress being made on the Swan Hill Regional Art Gallery and the Swan Hill Tourism and Cultural Hub project, contracts for the public toilets at the McCallum Street in Swan Hill and Centenary Park, Robinvale, commencement of the 10 Steps project and the bank stabilisation work. Several of these projects have progressed a lot further now, but it is exciting to see many of these projects being delivered for our community. There are many other projects that are also listed in your paperwork as an attachment. So it is recommended that Council notes the progress made on major projects between April and June 2025. There's a lot of images that have also been included in your package.
Thank you, Ms
Thank you.
Johnston. Any questions, councillors, on any of those items? If not, could I have a motion, councillors? Move Councillor Jennings, as per recommendation.
As per the recommendation,
Thank you.
Mr Mayor.
Seconded. Councillor Englefield. Thank you. Councillor Jennings, you wish to speak to the motion?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Just again, a positive report that highlights some of the major work that's been done. And as Ms Johnson said, there's been further progress in a number of these projects since the end of June, and they're starting to take shape, in particular the ones at Pioneer Settlement and the work down at the 10 Steps. So great to see some good things happening around the community, the municipality, I should say, and also having been able to see firsthand last week the play equipment at Centenary Park and have a look with Councillor Inglefield as to what's going to be happening in and around that. So congratulations again on a good report.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. Councillor Englefield.
Yeah, just like to endorse what Councillor Jennings has said, and it's good to see the amount of infrastructure work that's we're able to be carried out, and again, the park in Robinvale, I'll say again, has been an unbelievable hit.
Excellent. Thank you. Does anybody else wish to speak to the motion? If not, put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Agenda item 3.3, the final council plan update for quarter ending June 2025. Ms Morris? Thank you.
Thank you, councillors and Mr Mayor. This is the final report of the current council plan that was developed back in 2021. There were a number of actions that come from that council plan, being 110 actions, and we're pleased to report that 93% of those actions have been complete, progressed to complete or complete and ongoing. Some were still in progress, but of the pillars, which there were 4, we have in the livability section, 83% of those have been marked as complete. In the prosperity section, 74% complete. In the harmony actions, 79% have been completed, and in the leadership actions, 100% have been completed. There is some commentary around 3 of the actions that haven't been completed within this council plan, being the development of the Boundary Bend Master Plan, the development of a strategic plan for the future success of the Pioneer Settlement, and to develop a Building Safer Communities program. And there's some commentary there as to why those haven't progressed as of date. And we're asking council to note the report for the final report of the current council plan, and once we have approval, we will pop it up on the website for the community to see.
Thank you, Ms Morris. Are there any questions, councillors? Councillor McPhee.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This council plan finishes in June 2025.
Correct.
We've just put out our new council plan for further consultation with the community. council doesn't stop over this period until we adopt the... I understand there's some carried forward. So what actually happens with the new council plan?
Through you, Mr Mayor, the current council, or the new council plan that will be adopted in September actually takes effect from July 1.
Any other questions? Councillor Jennings?
The question with regard to the community plans, I represent Manangatang as my community in the municipality. I know that they have a community plan that I guess expires also at the 30th of June. When do we look at the community plans, the smaller community plans for the next period?
So we're doing our review of those plans at the moment, and we will bring a report to council in the next 6 to 8 weeks to give you an update on where they're at in the process they're going through to ensure they remain consistent.
Thank you.
Councillor Thornton, did you have a question?
Thank you. Yep. Just a question regarding the Reconciliation Action Plan, which I know is an ongoing project from the previous plan, and just an update, looking for an update on progress, when the last committee meeting was held and when we can expect a progress report.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Thornton. There's been a fair bit of work happening on finalising a draft reconciliation action plan and making sure all the stakeholders are on board before we present it to council. So I would be thinking it may be October, November, and it will be presented to council. That's making sure all our stakeholders feel that it addresses their needs.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions, councillors? If not, could I have a motion? Somebody, somewhere? Councillor McPhee, thank you. Thank you. Seconder? Councillor Thornton, thank you. Councillor McPhee, do you wish to speak to the motion?
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Look, this, as a 4-year plan, look, they're always very... we don't always complete everything. I think it's important that we do challenge the staff in relation to the objectives and the actions in those plans. I think they ought to be congratulated for what work has been done over the last 4 years in relation to this plan, and we certainly look forward to working towards our new council plan, which will hopefully be adopted in September. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Councillor Thornton, do you wish to speak? No? Okay, does anybody else wish to speak to the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving on to section 4, decisions which need action or ratification. 4.1, sign and seal. Mr CEO.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'll ask the councillors to take it as read. These have been approved under delegation.
Are there any questions on these matters, councillors? If not, can I have somebody to move the motion, please? Move Councillor Broad, seconded Councillor McPhee. As per recommendation, Councillor Broad.
Yes,
thank
Mr
you.
Mayor.
Do you wish to speak to the motion?
No.
No. All those in favour of the motion? Motion is carried. Thank you. And 4.2, councillor briefings, Mr CEO.
Again, Mr Mayor, this report is taken as read unless a councillor sees errors or omissions in what we have presented today. Thank you.
Are there any comments or questions on any of those, councillors? If not, could I have a motion that we note the contents of the report? Moved Councillor Englefield, seconded Councillor Broad. Wish to speak, Councillor Englefield?
No.
No? Councillor Broad? No? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving on in the agenda, we have no notices of motion. Any foreshadowed items, councillors? No? Do you have any urgent items not included in the agenda? No? And so we will move on to consider an order on councillor reports. And I put out a little list last night, so we'll open up with Councillor Rogers, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. 16th to 7th, Council ELT face-to-face. 20th to the 7th, Irvine Riverfront Enhancement Project. 15th to the 7th, that was briefing, half a day. 22nd to the 7th, half a day briefing. 1st to the 8th, Rural Councils Victoria Forum. And the 5th to the 8th, half a day briefing again. The 6th to the 8th, Town Hall Treaty Forum. The 7th to the 8th, attended the Swan Hill Bridge lift. The subsequent traffic jam blocking all our interstate and town traffic for over half an hour. On the 8th to the 8th, Sunny Tafe NAIDOC celebration. 10th to the 8th, Swan Hill Sustainability Group AGM. That's it.
Thank you, Councillor Rogers. Councillor McPhee.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. Just a couple of things I'd highlight, the rest will be in the minutes. I attended the CFA Awards. It's great to see, and I'll mention also the Riding for the Disabled AGM, both volunteer groups. Obviously, always looking for more volunteers. You don't have to know about horses to get involved in the Riding for the Disability committee or get on help out down there. They will provide you with training, and they do a wonderful job for the people with a disability. Some people can't even sit in a chair if they get on the back of a horse, and it's amazing what they can do. And just one other thing I'll highlight is yesterday attended the Vietnam Vets Day celebration at the Cenotaph. It's just a remind us all of what the sacrifices people have made at different wars over the years to give it the place that we live in today. So we all should just think back at times when these days come up and make sure we do reflect and say thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Councillor Thornton.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. A highlight on the evening after our previous council meeting was to attend Andrew Kelly's book launch at the Swan Hill Library, which is fabulous. It's wonderful having local authors that are publishing and a chance to enjoy our Swan Hill Library, which is a wonderful venue, especially in the evenings. Closely following that, we had the Gallery Advisory Committee meeting, which was fabulous to see the branding of the new gallery coming along. I'm not going to go through all of the things that I've attended because there's quite a lot in there in the minutes, but obviously it is annual general meeting time of the year, and did attend the Swan Hill Sustainability Group and Swan Hill Summer Fruits Development Association annual general meetings, both new committees appointed, and fabulous to see our voluntary organisations being renewed, particularly as we dealt with that matter earlier with the Italian Social Club. It's difficult to get renewal in your community organisation, so it's always fabulous to see committees being filled. And going through the motions, it was fabulous to attend the Path to Treaty Forum downstairs at the Town Hall, and it was a wonderful opportunity to understand the reform that's going ahead in Victoria, that is treaty. So looking forward to hearing more on that and supporting where possible. And participated in the Central Victorian Greenhouse Alliance as the council delegate, and there's some really exciting opportunities there for council that I look forward to speaking with other councillors at a later date. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thornton. Councillor Broad.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. A very quiet month for me. I've been out at Naya District Primary School doing my placement for primary teaching, so that has taken up quite a lot of time. And they are very excited for the Mayor to come out for Book Week on Friday to read a book. Did manage to sneak in a Swan Hill Inc meeting last night.
Thank you, Councillor Broad. Councillor Englefield.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Attended the bi-monthly REBA meeting, the online meeting with the Robinvale Euston Workers Network and ABARE, some significant people from the ABS, sorry, not ABARE, I'm thinking of my agricultural hat there, regarding the count, being counted counts for the upcoming census, and coffee with a councillor with fellow councillor Mr Jennings, Councillor Jennings, last Thursday, which was very good.
Great, thank you. Councillor Jennings.
Better wait for mine to pop up on the screen to remind me. Thank you. As Councillor Inglefield said, we had last week coffee with the councillor in Robinvale, and they're really good events. These coffee with the councillor, better than a Coldie with a councillor, because I think it's good to get them before they get on the sauce. But the community does engage really well with them. They're respectful. They're appreciative that we take the time to be there, and they come along with their list of things that they want to raise, and they're all legitimate, and as such we've put them into the report and look forward to seeing some actions against those. So I can commend any opportunity you get to coffee with a councillor, be it at the markets or wherever else you may go, that they are good community engagement events. The other thing was the treaty meeting that was held here at the town hall a couple of weeks ago with the state government department with a briefing on where they were at with the treaty. And with my work hat on, can I thank fellow councillors that came along to NAIDOC Week celebrations that we had at Sunny TAFE a week or two back, and appreciate their support for another worthwhile event.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. On to mine. I'm certainly not going to talk about everything for the month, but just to highlight the Ronvale Euston Workforce Network census. Working with the ABS, as Councillor Englefield said, to get accurate census data, and there's another workshop coming up in relation to that in the next week or so. Attended the Victorian Top Tourism Town Awards at the Move Museum in Shepparton. Unfortunately, whilst we were a finalist, we didn't bring home the top award, but it was certainly great to see the offerings of other places around Victoria and know that we're right up there as well. The Rural Councils Victoria Regional Forum over in Yarrawonga, also attended by Councillor Rogers and Councillor McPhee, as well as some staff. Great opportunity for rural councils to get together and discuss all things that are important to rural Victoria. Just wish we could get some more government ministers there to actually come and speak to us and answer some questions. But anyway, we can live in hope with that, I guess. Councillor McPhee has also highlighted volunteer groups, so I just want to shout out as well to the Swan Hill Lions and Swan Hill Rotary Club, and also the launch of the Mini Woolies program down at the ABLE offices, creating opportunities for people with disabilities to learn the retail environment. So it's a great program they've got going down there. Burgers are better in our municipality with the official opening of Hungry Jack's. I attended an online meeting with the Not In Our Name organisation, sort of led by the United Firefighters Union, regarding the Emergency Services Volunteer Fund, and that continues to be a hot topic, particularly now that rate notices are hitting the mailboxes, particularly in the metro areas where I think our metro cousins were a bit oblivious to what was going on, but there's certainly plenty of noise there now. CEO and I attended Vic Basin Communities Interdepartmental Committee, consultation regarding water buybacks and I guess appropriate compensation that the government's talking about for the next tranche of buybacks. The AGM for the Business and Professional Women's Organisation, that was a great night, and I've also met with a ratepayer regarding the Swan Hill Regional Livestock Exchange. So plenty going on and plenty more coming up in the next month as well. That's our normal councillor reports for the month. However, on the agenda is a further report as part of our attendance at the Australian Local Government Association Conference in Canberra, which was held at the end of June. Myself and Councillor Jennings and CEO Scott Barber attended that conference. As part of that, we bring back a report to council. The report is tabled and I trust that everybody's had an opportunity to have a look at it. There's a lot of information in there. Obviously, there's a lot of overheads that we captured whilst we were there. There's probably another 200 that we could have put on those pages. So yeah, I encourage councillors and community to take a look at that. I just want to highlight a couple of things, and then I'll flick to Councillor Jennings for his reflections. To me, the city-country divide is still very real, and it's interesting having a day of the regional forum with all the regional councils from around Australia, and everybody seems to be very much on the same page about what we want in regional Australia, to protect farmland, to be very practical about what we do as councils and create really good practical outcomes for our municipalities. And then we throw in the city cousins, and the discussion and the debate turns very largely to social issues. Metro councils seem to be very focused on social issues and not so much on their roads, rates and rubbish, if I could put it that way. And so it's quite a challenge when you're talking about rural issues and the things that are important to rural and regional people in regards to roads, infrastructure, the distances we travel, our need for fossil fuels, because that's how we get farming and those sorts of things done, the threat to farmland from water buybacks, from renewable energy projects and from government overreach. It's very difficult to get that message across to our city cousins, but we'll keep fighting the fight in that regard, and we'll keep showing up to those conferences and flying the rural and regional flag. One of particular interest, I thought, was the presentation by Bernard Salt on some demographic data, and without going into everything, we are facing a aged care explosion in 2032, and there is a graph on there that explains that. In 2032, there'll be 60,000 more people than in 2024 requiring aged care. So the numbers are significant. Sorry, no, requiring or workers. I'll have to double check that, sorry. But yeah, the demand for workers in aged care, in nursing, and particularly electrical and trades related areas is huge. Agricultural output is rising despite the decline in rural populations, and it needs to, because the world population is forecast to peak at about 10 billion people by 2070, which is quite significant. As always, good opportunities to network with other councils from right around the country, hear what they're doing in their municipalities, particularly interesting in relation to housing projects and the way that different municipalities are going about that. But yeah, also to discuss other issues that are relevant to local government, of course. With that, I'll throw to Councillor Jennings if you'd like to add anything, Councillor Jennings.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I thought that the Elgar conference was very well worthwhile for a fledgling councillor to go along and see how the debates take place. Interesting process that took place over a couple of different afternoons, but the whole process was well worthwhile and a good opportunity to learn a lot more about. With I think there was 1,300 delegates across the whole of Australia, and lots of conversations that were had at coffee times and meal times and things like that. So plenty of networking opportunities and chance to meet people from similar situations to ourselves. As the Mayor highlighted, it was quite evident, the divide between city and regional and rural. So it was particularly important to have that regional day on the first day with issues that were a lot closer to home for us, and the things that cut across all of us was housing, roads, and cost shifting was also one that was quite prevalent there in most discussions. I too picked up on Bernard Salt that spoke that day, and he's a very good presenter, and as the Mayor said, he's predicting that world population will peak in 2070, and as such there's going to need to be a 25 to 40% increase in agricultural production to sustain that, which is obviously relevant to our municipality, or very relevant to our municipality. So we need to be gearing for that production, both in workforce and output. As the Mayor said, rural population is declining, but productivity is increasing, so the ways of doing business are improving all the while. It was interesting that 32% of our population are immigrants, which is second only to the United Arab Emirates. So, as a multicultural society, 32%, I suppose, is an argument to say that we're all imports in some shape or form. If we came out, we're either being guarded or guards, one or the other. But yes, 32% of our populations are from overseas. Job growth in the regions as part of that, 25 to 40% increase that's going to be required. The key roles are in care, in sales and in construction, whether that be in housing or commercial construction. We had Christy McBain that I think that I'm sure that the Mayor had a meeting with at some particular time there during the conference, who's the Federal Minister for Local Government. And, she spoke of the importance of councils in creating vibrant, healthy, sustainable communities, which is nice to say, but unless they fund us appropriately, and there was a lot of discussion about this thought of getting back to a 1% of GDP to be returned to councils for their expenditure. I'm not too sure what the percentage is currently, but it's obviously underneath that. 0.5, so half of what we need to be sustainable. And, with all these cost shifting, as we say, it's costing us more to do with less funding for it. On one of the days, our local member, Anne Webster, spoke, and she spoke about councils' work in aged care and in childcare, how those roles were virtually unpaid roles for us, unfunded roles, and how important it was for councils to do those roles. She spoke about renewable and transmission projects and the effects on our municipality and other regional municipalities. Spoke about wanting a future fund for regional councils on the back of exports of $650 billion in total, of which 2/3 of it comes from the region. And her contention, which I think I would tend to agree, is that there's not a lot of that coming back to support us. So if we're contributing 2/3 of $650 billion, it'd be nice to get a share of the pie. And councils that are being stripped of councils' powers being stripped away, which I've highlighted today, even in that planning space. One of the other presenters spoke about AI for society. So there was quite a deal of discussion around that and how AI. Obviously, we know that it's such a growing thing, but spoke about how it works, where it works best, and where it's heading, I suppose. But explained that it's still in its infancy and it's only as good as the data that's been put into it. So it's not the be-all and end-all at this point in time. And apart from there's a lot of discussion about it's going to take all these jobs, but until the database expands to be able to give data that is a bit more measured, we still need to keep a lid on it, but it should be able to be used for some things within council. And another thing that was presented to us, a presentation on a new system of, I think it's called payable or rate payable or something like that, that was another way of collecting rates, which we were looking to do some investigation on and perhaps bring that back to council at some stage. So all in all, it was very interesting. I've been to a lot of conferences in my time, but I found this one to be beneficial. I found the speakers to be of very high quality and engaging, and the presentations were good. So to other new councillors, I'd encourage you to put your hand up for it next year and attend.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. And I'd just like to clarify the stat that I talked about earlier on. So it's annual growth in 2032 of over 60,000 additional people aged 85 plus. The growth, the charts, the graphs in there, it's astronomical. The additional number of people aged over 85 by the time we get to 2032. So lots of demand for anything to do with aged care, really, facilities, equipment, and obviously staff. So with that, we will move on. There is no further ordinary agenda items, so we will move into camera in a moment, but when we come out of camera there'll be no further ordinary agenda items, so I'll take this opportunity to thank members of the public, those in the gallery, those watching on the live stream for your attendance today, and encourage you to get involved in reviewing the draft council plan and other plans that have been presented today to have your final say on our direction for the next 4 years. With that, could I have a motion to move into camera, please, councillors? Move Councillor Englefield, seconded Councillor Broad. All those in favour? Thank you. Just remain seated for a moment. Thank you. We've come back out of camera and the only matter of business now is to close the meeting. So I'll declare the meeting closed at 3:39 p.m. and thank you once again for your attendance today.